Okay. Hello, my name is Alexis. I'm also known as Sappy. I'm a musician, a producer, currently studying musical production. I just want to do a quick tutorial on how to set up a Debian machine for music production. And you might be asking yourself, why Linux? Why not stick to Windows or Mac OS? Well, I've been using all three of these operating systems. I was on Windows, then I went on Mac OS for some academic stuff, and I went back to Windows. I'm currently on Linux. I've been using it for 2 years. Started in Ubuntu, went into Mint, Debian, Arch, tried everything. And I never really found myself working musically in Debian, in these Linux machines. But there's a market for it. There is a place to work, and there are plugins. There's a community of people who produce on Linux, and I want to help anybody out who might be having trouble or doesn't even know where to start producing on here. I would encourage someone to first learn the basics on Windows or on Mac on a more mainstream DAW like FL Studio, Ableton. But once you do get the hang of what you're doing, setting up a Linux machine for this kind of work will be better. Why do you want Linux? Because you want stability, because you want privacy, because you want a much more lightweight system. You might not have the resources to have this huge, powerful processor or like 32 gigs RAM. You might just have 8 gigs of RAM and a Celeron processor. I'm not here to judge you on your resources. You don't need shitty spec hardware. You don't need the highest spec hardware either. You can run this on any type of machine. I want to help propose that. We're going to start. The first thing you're going to do, the very first thing you're going to do, if you're a Windows user, and I say Windows, not Mac OS, because you're not going to be able to do this on Mac OS. If you're a Windows user, I recommend getting a second hard drive, because the very first thing you're going to do is install Debian. I say get a second hard drive because you don't know if you're going to like Linux, you don't know if you're going to stick to this, you don't know if anything's going to go awry, so you just want to keep something in the back burner. There's this tutorial by Learn Linux TV on how to set up a Debian machine, and I really like it. I think you should go check it out. Anything else? Look at my bald ass head. Sorry, I had to put my hair up. I'm not having it today. There's lots of DAWs on Linux right now. There's Ardour, there's LMMS, Bitwig, Studio One just joined the roster for Ubuntu Studio. I think Ubuntu Studio. I think they just set out a beta on Ubuntu. Today we're just going to focus on Reaper, which just has a native Linux port, and you can customize it a lot more than the others. So, first things we're going to do, download Reaper. Debian is an x86-64 system. So anything you download, you're going to download it for this, x86-64. Click on this, download. Okay. This we are going to extract into our downloads. There we go. Here are the files. Real quick, we're going to go into the Reaper folder and click on this. This is an app image. Basically, it's just going to run its own system without touching anything on your computer. It's going to be this little isolated shell apart from everything. Here, you're going to open up the audio device, switch it to Pulse Audio. Apply, OK. Real quick, we're going to open up a track with double click. And where's the effects? Here's the effects. Gonna add a synth. We just want to make sure that there's audio coming out of the system. And we do. We do have audio. Perfect. I don't know if that actually got captured. But, oh, Jesus. Sorry, my dog's a total Republican. She hates my lesbian rats. We're not going to talk about that. We're going to close this. We don't need this. Now, this right here, this is a shell script. What does it do? It's gonna install Reaper for us. We don't have exe files here. At most, we have .deb files, which we're gonna check right now. This in particular, we're gonna open up a terminal to run this shell script. So you can either click on the terminal or go Control-Alt-T, open up a terminal, click where we are, home and Alexis. We're gonna go cd downloads. Then from here, go cd reaper floor Linux floor x86. Remember, that's x86 64. And from here, we're going to execute that script using /install reaper.sh. Okay, we're going to get asked a few things. We're just going to install it. We're not going to add anything to it. Install reaper to opt. Oh, Alexis opt. We're going to go with 2. Whichever one you want, really. Yes. Yes. Exit. And if you look over here, sound and video, here we go. Mr. Reaper. Ah, what a beautiful thing. Okay. This is a super easy part. Super, super duper easy. But this is just a vanilla Reaper install. We want plugins. We want something to go play around with. We're going to install 2 things. We're going to install the LSP Linux Studio plugin bundle. We're going to install Vital, which is my main software synthesizer. If you want a video explaining these audio plugin formats for Linux, there's this video by Unfa. You should subscribe to him, honestly. He's amazing. He explains everything very well. We've got Linux Studio plugins here. These are all the plugins they got. We're just gonna go to the download page. This will take you to SourceForge. From here, go to Linux x86 64, very important. From here, give it a second. We're going to install the LV2 plugins. So, let it install. Okay. So here, this one we're going to, no, not yet. So from here, you're going to double click. Go inside, user, lib. This lib folder is what you're going to extract into your downloads folder. Yes. Show the files. That is completely okay. So this is everything you're going to want to put in your libraries folder. How are we going to get there? We're going to open up the terminal again. I'm going to go cd /user/lib. And we're already there. We're already in the directory. We just have to drag this from here. How are we going to do that? Well, there's ways of doing it, but the easiest way is to just install a file navigator. I'm just going to install Thunar, which is a file navigator. No, yes. So while it's installing, what's important about this, running it in the terminal, you can add sudo to it, which is just a super user or an admin, give it admin privileges so we can move around files without having to worry about restrictions. We're going to run sudo thunar to, as I said, give us admin privileges while moving around things. We're going to go to File System, open this in a new tab. Home, your user, downloads, lib. This you're going to select. And this library folder from user, we're going to go over here, drag it in. Easy as that. Nothing more to it. Close the window. And before we exit, we've just installed LV2 plugins. Now we're going to install clap plugins as well. So we're going to make a file directory to put these clap plugins into. So we're going to go make directory clap. Okay. So we're going to go sudo make directory clap. Usually you can do this from root access. But once we have that, we can either exit. We're going to keep it here. We're just going to clear our workspace. We're going to use Vital. Vital is a free and open source software synthesizer, wavetable synthesizer, which I personally use in pretty much everything I make. So I want a Linux port. We're going to get the zip file, even though it's not. Oh, okay. Maybe if we reload. There we go. So we've installed Vital here. We're going to open this up. We're interested in Clap. We're interested in the Clap plugin. So this we're going to extract into downloads. It's everything else is the same, except when it's not really. So here we are. We've got Clap, Vital.clap. Remember that terminal we have, which is in user library. We're gonna go cd clap, and from here we're gonna do the exact same thing. We're gonna go sudo thunar. Here we go. So file system, open in a new tab, home, here, downloads. I'm actually gonna put the downloads here, so for future things it's much easier to access. So Vital Clap plugin goes into the Clap folder. Easy as that. What else could you possibly want? So we're going to close this, clear, and I think that's all for plugins. So we're going to close our terminal, close everything. Boop, boop. We're going to open up Reaper to check our plugins, just verify them. So for preferences, you can go Control P. Down here in plugins, we're going to go LV2, rescan. Give it a second. And for cloud plugins, we're going to do the exact same thing. For new modified plugins. They should appear when you look them up. Here we are. All the LSP plugins. If I'm not wrong, Vital plugins. There's only one, Vital. But anyways, we've got that going. So close. Nope. Good. So we've got plugins. We've got a DAW. That's practically it. Everything else besides this is just configuring Reaper for a bit more advanced productions. I really want to thank Brendan Patrick Baker for his configuration file, ReaTooled, which is supposed to mimic the workflow of Pro Tools. I've been using it for a while, and it's pretty fun to work with. It's not, I wouldn't say it's 100% like Pro Tools, but it really is. It's a good config file. You should go check them out. I'm gonna put all the links in the description. For ReaTooled, we have to obviously install Reaper. We have to install the SWS extension, which is just an extension of configurations for Reaper, of tools for Reaper. He explains PC users and Mac users. I didn't really okay, but I got around to it. So we're gonna go to swsextension.org. That's where we're gonna find this bleeding edge repository. This is what you're gonna want to download. You're gonna want to download up here, Linux x86-64. Click on that. It's gonna go in here. Cool. Let me just close these other ones. Epic. We are going to extract this, actually, because why wouldn't we? Extract this into our downloads, files. So these three are what we're going to put into our config files. Before playing around with any sort of config files, we're going to want to back up our default configuration. So we're going to do that by going into our config folders, going cd /.config -reaper, all capitals. Oh, it's without the slash. From here, you're gonna want to copy your config file and move it anywhere else. I'm gonna put it into my documents folder in case anything goes wrong, or in case I don't want to deal with ReaTooled and I want to install it. So we're gonna copy this exact file, reaper.ini, to our home Alexis, in my case, documents folder. And if we check, just double checking, yes, in fact, we do have the reaper.ini folder, configuration file. So we're good. We're good to start playing around. We're going to run a sudo thunar here as well, because why not? Here are your configuration files. We're going to open our downloads, new tab. Remember, group, scripts, user plugins, all go into our configuration file. We're going to place all. Perfect. So quit this, exit, and we should be good. We should be good to install ReaTooled. And we're also going to install a few skins. I personally like... I don't like any of these. If I'm being serious. Good no video. Okay, I've done some digging, and I found these 3 things that I'm okay with, so I'm just going to download them. This one looks really cool, but I'm not sure if it's going to work well. Regardless, we're going to go to Reaper. How do you activate these things? You just go Reaper, go from your downloads. You're just going to drag it in. It's going to adjust itself. Boom, boom, boom. There we go. If you want to change them, you go into Options, Themes, and here you go. It's all cool. We're just going to keep it default for now. Okay, final step just to get this done with. You're gonna go get ReaTooled from Brendan Patrick Baker's official site. Download. Okay, let this download. Wow, that's heavy. Okay, so while it's downloading, I'm just gonna talk to you about how I feel with Linux and this whole production thing. I think that it's important. You just need to look for ways to get around the fact that there are no professional VSTs. There's no AAX support for Linux, obviously. Just because you're not on Windows, just because you're not on Mac, and the great majority of plugins are for these 2 operating systems. That's one of the biggest things with Linux is compatibility. But yeah, I just think people should be more conscious that yes, you can absolutely use Linux as a production tool, maybe even professionally, especially in the future. Okay, now, okay, we're done with the thing. We're just gonna go Reaper, and where is it? Where's Mr. Brendan's Reaper tool? We're just I don't want Brendan's tool. Okay, we're gonna drag the config file directly into Reaper. Yes, click OK. All of these, you're gonna leave them just as is, and we're just gonna import. Give it some time. And there we go. Look at how everything is different. That's just how life is, baby. This is the ReaTooled configuration. Brendan Patrick Baker has his own YouTube channel where he explains how this config works, how the workflow is. You should check it out. I'm going to put it in the description as well. But look at that. Let's do an F11 just so we can see everything together. Yeah. Yeah. Double click. Whoa. Whoa. I'm not going to make anything in here because that's your job. It's your job. You're going to do everything here. I'm just going to close everything. Close Reaper. No, we're not going to save that. Close downloads. Close this. Close that. And there you go. Let's actually put Reaper in our panel because we're going to open it all the time, aren't we? We're going to make a lot of music. We're going to make a lot of music together. Well, I think that's everything. If you'd like me to make another video or just like simply address little things here and there, then I completely encourage it in the comment section. I'm genuinely fighting for this. I'm genuinely vouching for Linux as a production tool. I think everybody should know that it's valid, not just valid, but it can be a complete workspace for someone. I think a lot of people dismiss Linux as a sort of hobbyist thing, this freakish thing, this, oh, we have to open the terminal to install a browser. I know it's bait, but still. That's it. That's all. Okay. I'm gonna go make music now. Okay. Bye.